All right. Hey, good morning, folks. I'm off to a late start today, but luckily I have extended time today because I'm going to the dentist this morning, which means I have the day off, which means we'll be back at lunchtime, like around 2 o'clock maybe to 1:30. We'll be here at 1:30 Seattle time, which will be 4:30 East Coast. We'll be back working on the the Artificer Spell Point Artificer 2024 conversion. We're working on the subclasses. So at 1:30, probably till maybe at least 3:30, we'll play that. And then I have playtesting tonight at 5:30. So I'll have to dip out and get myself ready for the playtesting. But everything is on course there. But this morning, we're going to work on Eberron Art. So give me a second here to see if I'm coming through on the channel. And let's see how that goes. Mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 3. Do I have? Let's see how that goes. Yeah, that sounds great. And let's drop that down like that. And then what's this button do? Mic check, 1, 2, 3. What's this button do? Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. It sounds like everything is right, proper. Keep that drop down if I need to adjust the volume further. Anyone let me know if I start hearing myself too much, then I'll self-regulate. But, okay, great. So, yeah, we're making an adventure for Eberron. It's for 7th and 8th level characters. 4 or 5 characters, level 7 to 8. For those that don't know, the amount of experience points that you need for 5 7th level characters to get to 8th level is like within a couple hundred experience points of how much experience an 8th level characters need to get to 9th level. So curves out really smoothly on that end, so we can have the XP calibrated for both of those, which is why sometimes you see those arrays. In this instance, it's super obvious. So, Crystals in my bar. You can see the book cover here right now. You're exploring the Carnwood, fighting necromancers, undead, and demons, trying to rescue villagers, stop an evil ritual with a artifact from destroying the world. So stay on course. Stay on course, my folks. Let's see. We are switching my screen around here just to finish up the intro. If you're on the X Twitter platform, I'm at Phil Kearney. You can catch early look-sees and works in progress and articles and stuff here on YouTube. Thanks a lot for all the support, guys. I appreciate you guys pushing the subscribers up. That's really great. Thank you. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications. Here is my Discord channel. Drop in. We do playtesting there. Here's the entire playlist of all 177 episodes. You can explore all of those. And here's a bunch of books that I've already created on the DMsGuild for 5e. They're all free previews, so check them out. If you like them, let me know. So let's see. Let's get this book cover out of the way. And we're going to, we got 2 things I want to do today specifically. I've got till 9 o'clock this morning. It's 7 o'clock now. I like to normally start by 6:30 and go till 8. But Mondays are a little unstable for me sometimes. So I'm clicking in at 7 o'clock and we'll go till 9. I've got a fresh batch of coffee working with us today. So this is, we're looking at NPCs in a tree, preventing themselves from getting eaten by monsters. So I think we're just going to render this for a while. That's what feels good. And then we're going to look at the first page, how I'm organizing the second part of the adventure. So let's see. Let's take these guys. The adventure is broken into 3 parts, and then there's appendices. And I'm really happy, ironically, about how long it's taken to produce this, because when we first conceived the adventure and started writing it, we didn't know there was going to be a 2024 glam up. So I'm thrilled that this happened before I got really committed to locking this down, and then would have to come back through and revise it. So that was just serendipitous to me. So we're just gonna do some rendering for a while here. Let's drop back to the black Get our circle going. I'll conceal that. I use square fonts when I make maps, like dungeon maps, because dungeons are built on squares. So I just use a square brush to make walls really easy and not have to worry about the curve. I actually used circles for a long time, and then would erase off the ends so they were square. And I did that just because I wasn't very familiar with making my own brushes, like, at all at the time. And eventually I figured out how brushes work, and it just made sense to switch to a square because it's more efficient. But that kind of drives home a point that gets made occasionally, that, like, you don't need special brushes to be good at painting. You don't need tools, or all you need is a canvas of some sort, and understand how your tools work to be able to produce the effects and results that you want. Once you understand, like, with the most basic of tools, when you're capable of creating good stuff, then you can start looking at how do brushes make that good stuff easier or better. Until then, most people are like, hey, what's a great brush set? What you're asking is, are there any shortcuts to me getting good at drawing? And brushes aren't going to do it for you, because if you don't know how to paint, your brushes aren't going to paint good things regardless of what they are. They're just going to have a bad painting with maybe different shapes. So than what you would naturally do, because you're not controlling you're not controlling the tools. You don't understand them yet. You have to spend time with them, and there's no rushing that. It's just, you have to get familiar with the tools. You have to understand what they can do. You have to discover their nuances, and you have to discover through trial and error and just time spent understanding how your body wants to interact, like what's natural for you, what's your natural brush strokes, what are natural shapes to you, and that's what starts guiding your style. Your style, and I've talked about this before, your style is how your creativity adjusts for not being photorealistic. So if you're able to perfectly render whatever it is that you're imagining in accurate proportions, lighting, conditions, saturation, you would just basically be creating photos, like real life photos in your mind, and then projecting them onto the page. But most of us cannot do that. I certainly cannot do that. Not with photorealistic results. So my style is an apology for not being photorealistic in a clever, pleasing way. So it's like, I can't create photorealistic effects, but here's my best go with it. And then you start, your style is you creating a solution, a semi-realistic solution that's aesthetically pleasing. Your proportions are good, your angles are good, your lighting, your color saturation, all that stuff is good, and it blends well, and it's a good looking piece of art. And that's an effective apology for not being photorealistic. So once you find that place where it's like, oh yeah, no, this is good. This looks, even though it's not photorealistic, it looks good. That's when you're creating good art. That's when you've started to build a style. And then once you get to that level, adding in brushes again helps lean into that effect. So the point of all that is in anything that your endeavor, any kind of art endeavor that you pursue, is the right way of saying that, is step number one: get intuitive and comfortable with the tools that you use, and you can be working on proportions and all the different basics of art in general while you're going through that process. But recognize that you do go through that process before you start becoming critical of yourself, of the work that you do. It takes time. Most artists that talk on YouTube and have like a sketch or like a painting being produced in the background, a lot of times they can be at 20 or even 120 times faster pace, where the mouse is darting around like this and creating effects, but you don't see the hesitation of like, do I need to do this or here? Or like, you don't see all these painstaking, slow processes in that hyper speed playback of 120 hours worth of art that gets resolved in a 20-minute video, while the producer, while the artist is talking about whatever their point of, whatever their conversation point is. There's a disconnect, I think, in especially in younger audiences, that you don't feel the weight of how long that piece that you like, how long it took, or how long it takes to produce those results. So when you're watching those videos, try to pay attention to how fast is that mouse moving, because that's telling you how realistic is it for you to finish that type of work in that type of frame. And some people just don't understand that sometimes. So I just think it's important to point out. So this will be on the DMs Guild as well. This is the first published adventure. We in the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration supplement that we published in March, that has a 25-page conversion guide in its appendix for Light of Xeraxis, the adventure that Wizards of the Coast produced to showcase the Spelljammer campaign setting. And so using the combat and exploration mechanics that we introduced into Spelljammer through that supplement, we then we converted all the mechanics in Light of Xeraxis to utilize those combat and exploration options, so that you first learn the rules, and then the back 25 pages you have a practical example of an adventure people know using these new rules, so you can see how they line up and how they change the adventure for you to choose what you would want to implement or not. So it's show and it's tell then show as a practical use, and so that was the first actual a long form anything involving adventures that I've ever produced. I did maybe 120 encounter cards by Inkwell Ideas. They have these deck of cards that each one of them is a different adventure, around a pirate theme or a horror theme or an urban theme, things like that. And I did maybe 120 of those. And then I've designed a number of layers for the Adventures in Chronomancy book that Ryan Langer had published on DMsGuild. And I actually ended up using that supplement to build a time travel Groundhog's Day campaign in Eberron that ran from level 1 to 20. It took 6 years for that campaign to complete, and we used the color mana system that I published for Ravnica, Theros, and Strixhaven, etc. So a full 20 level campaign utilizing the spell point system that I have on DM's Guild. That was amazing. That I had the opportunity to have a stable group of players to be able to run that course and see how well those rules actually work. So that was incredibly exciting. We are slowly grinding our way through updating all of my books for 2024. And so it's going to take a while to do that. 2014, the original 5e was in place for a decade before they updated it. And I've been creating content on DMsGuild since 2017. So I've got a small stack of books going that are all going to be significantly better as a result of 2024. 2024 is such a great modification to the rules for game design. I'm still assessing. We're running this mega dungeon for the martial power system. We're currently level 3, and maybe in another week or two we'll be level 4. It's taking a little longer to progress than I had originally anticipated, but that's okay. It's I have a schedule. But the schedule bows to the content. I have so many books that I'm working on that I can afford to let any particular playtesting linger a while. I'm not in a rush. God knows I am not in a rush This is the 377th episode of me making this adventure. I'm obviously not in a rush. It's art. I'm going to have to make art no matter what. There's this muse who lives in my head, and she drives me to produce artwork. Just compels me, and she was utterly delighted when I started creating books, not just art, because it's like being able to fly in comparison to swimming, you know. So swimming is, that's funny. Yeah, art is swimming. It allows you a lot of degrees of freedom, but you're inside of one medium. You get that now? See how that works? When you get into writing and adventure design, you have so many more dimensions of creativity that you get to work in. Art is just one of them. So that's just been astounding, moving in this direction and allowing my art to complement the books that I build, to have, I guess, like a couture indie developer sort of vibe. But I just love that I can sculpt the page, the text on the page, and the artwork together at the same time. But yeah, this is the first adventure that full original content, like designed by humans, us and Andy Headley, the old goat, and me, making this adventure, and then Stuart Braz coming on board as a proofreader and structural editor to help design like how the adventure should be presented, like how to structure it and how to make it work chronologically as well as achronistically. So you can pull apart bread. The adventures is pull apart, where all the components are separate pieces. Like the dungeons are isolated. Obviously, you can extract those. I'm hoping, if things work out, that for in August next year we'll develop the cemetery map that we have in here. We'll develop that out into a Halloween one shot where your team is Scooby-Dooing around this old haunted cemetery, trying to find pieces of a MacGuffin to assemble to put the cemetery to rest. Meanwhile, there's just a lot of undead that want to kill you, and so you can attempt to navigate your way through the challenge without combat, like literal Scooby-Doo style, having like undead that are chasing after you, and you can't, you don't have any combat capabilities. All you can do is dodge and hide from them. There's this thick fog that's throughout the adventure. The way that the campaign for Crystals is currently written is that the undead can see through the fog, but the living can't. So it's they can see you from afar, and you can't see them coming until you hear them or they get inside of your range. So there's a real claustrophobic sense. But in the Scooby-Doo version, where there's no combat, the monsters can't see through the fog either. So as long as you can keep enough distance away from them so that you're obscured, you're safe. So you have to move from point to point inside of the graveyard and keep the undead from seeing you, so that you don't get attacked. So you can like hide behind gravestones, because there's cover everywhere, because there's gravestones and stuff. So if you can find cover, when there's a ghoul chasing you, for instance, you can dip out of visibility because of the fog, and then hide behind a gravestone or dive into water or wherever it is that you want to hide. But you can hide, and then the undead, if they don't see you, will move past you. They just automatically fail their spot check. So the team can constantly be dodging undead while looking for the MacGuffins to assemble, the artifact of completion. So that's an idea. But that's a fun way to be able to take stuff that we create and respin it and make more use of it than just like, because I was saying it's a pull apart adventure. That's an example of one way you can pull this adventure apart and make use of it. So And there's a bunch of optional standalone with like little vignette maps for undead chasing you or stuff like that. The village map, a farming homestead in different states of abuse. We have the forest toolkit where all of the trees and trunks, branches, sorry, not the branches, the trunks and branches, the canopy of the tree, clumps of rocks, hedges, the ground, all those are all like tents in a campfire. It's all little modular tokens that you can assemble onto a forest floor background that we provide, that's included. So you get an entire toolkit for your VTT to be able to like build your own forest settings if you want. I know there's token assets out there, but I don't know how many. I'm sure there's tons of them, but I personally haven't seen any yet. Granted, I haven't done a long hard search looking for them, but that's just like included. It's just included with it. So a lot of added value. But that's the thing that we can do to since I'm both publishing and doing all the artwork for it, I can afford to take the time to provide all those extra little bits. And then I can sell those bits separately and bundle them with the adventure as like a coupon. Because you already get all the artwork and stuff in the adventure, but if you pick that up, you like end up saving $2 or $3. There we go. Just having fun making branches. Yeah, that's good placement. I like that. That'll be just fine. I need to reduce that down a little bit though. And I'm actually gonna take this. I want to angle it away from the heroes. So I'm gonna do that. So this is going to, yeah, this recedes into the distance. Like that. Good. And we're just working our way around the tree, just adding quality of life to all the branches until I'm content with how they look. And then we'll start working on the people stuck in the tree and sally forth. This is the branch that snapped off. That there were 3 people in the tree, but one of these branches snapped, and and that guy fell and got eaten by undead wolves. They're actually, we call them plague hounds. They're just they're wolves and stray dogs that have been infested or infected by the necrotic effect of the manifest zone. There we go. So this is this front branch here that snapped off. That is if we create a quick there, that's about our rule of thirds here that we're seeing. Here's a point of interest, which we have this character here. Here, and here are your hot spots for focusing the attention of the. Actually, it should shift down a touch. So this becomes a point. This becomes a point. This becomes a point, and this becomes a point. I'm off center a little bit. I'm a little high, which means this guy's head is going to be right on point, about as a point of interest. And then shift this down a little bit more. If I raise this branch up just a smidge, it'll sit more there as a point, as a focal point. And now the amount of detail that I put into this branch is going to basically set the level of detail I need for the entire trunk around this area. So these things curve together like that. So we're getting a sense of position and foreshortening here. There, like that. There. I love doing trees and bark and details like this. I haven't needed to in a while, but I just dearly love painting in the Bob Ross wet on wet techniques in Photoshop. It is fantastic. I have intentions of over the holiday uploading my digital brush set here to Patreon. It was a promise that I had made a while ago that when I hit 500 subscribers, that I would post the brush sets that I use to make all of this art that you see. And so I'm going to take time, I think probably this upcoming Saturday. Yeah, I'll just take a couple hours off of making book and get those brush sets uploaded for folks. That'll be on my Patreon. They'll be free. It's going to be a thank you gift to anyone that wants them. And when I haven't hit 3,000 hours of consumed content, but you need to have both 500 subscribers and 3,000 hours per year of consumed content. I'm at like 2,885 hours on average consumed per year right now, and that number slowly upticks as I gain subscribers and more people take a look at what it is that we're doing here. And so that number will just naturally rise as I accumulate, finding people that think this stuff is cool. That just naturally elevates over time. So I'm not concerned about it. But once it does, I'll be once I get to that 3,000 milestone. When I do YouTube videos, I should have a shop that shows up down here. And I can fill that with stock art, like the work that we're doing here. Because the plan is to thank you, Timely Timer, for the Patreon to make a perk of being a $1 Patreon subscriber is to grant unlimited reproduction rights of any stock art you buy from me in professional work, while you maintain a $1 subscription. So like if you're going to, like if you bought some of my stock art and you want to put it in a book, you can jump on for that month and have the $1 subscription and get and then be clear to use that stock art. And if you don't, if you're not going to publish another book for another 6 months, then you don't have to continue subscribing because you were subscribed when you released the book. That feels to be the most simple, fair way to do things. And I've seen a number of other admirable freelance artists work their Patreon the same way. So it feels like it's an effective solution. So. And my trademark for my role-playing game that I'll kickstart probably in 2026 is in process. As I understand, it can take many, many months to have it resolved. So I'm being patient about that. But my home table is in the process of playtesting it. It reduces levels down to 5 levels, and each level represents a different. Like in Dungeons and Dragons, there's 5 benchmarks where your characters gain a proficiency bonus, which I think is a more accurate portrayal of power spikes as opposed to the 4 tiers that is often cited as a structure of power in the game. But in Dungeons and Dragons, there's 5, and it's at the levels of half casting: 1, 5, 9, 13. 17. I know that at 6th level you get high magic that can only be cast once a day, but I don't think there's a significant difference between character power overall between 11th level and 13th level. I like 13th level being there because that's in the pocket of where everyone's actually gaining more between a level 11 and 15 is where classes get like their 3rd or even 4th subclass option. So I think 13th level is a more even step for power growth for the characters overall, not just spell casting, which is why the 1, 5, 11, 17. That's why those benchmarks exist currently in the current zeitgeist of power spike philosophy. Is that at 11th, like at 1st level, everyone's the same. That's where you start. At 5th level, everyone's either getting their extra attack or 3rd level spells. At 11th level, marshals aren't like the fighter gets a 3rd attack during combat. But other classes, it's shaky whether or not they're getting anything or not, of course, except for the full casters. So you've got the cleric, the druid, the bard, the cleric, the druid, the sorcerer, the warlock still counts, and the wizard. So that's 6 classes that are full casters. And then fighter, out of 12 official and the bastard artificer child, 7 of them gain significant power at 11th level. The fighter, of course, power is laughable in comparison to what full casters get, but that's just spiteful. But the power is there. So effectively, there's only 6 of the classes out of 13 that are really getting a big power spike at 11th level. So that I don't think that's an accurate portrayal of where the actual divide is. So and then 17th level. Everyone's gotten all their except for the paladin, has basically gotten all their subclass features, and 9th level spells is a significant enough spike of power to say that the last tier of power is truly starting at 17th to 20th level. So to me it just makes more sense that all of them are aligned along the proficiency gains. The end. What was my point? I was talking about something. I was talking about power spikes. Oh, yeah. The role-playing game. We don't have an official title for it yet. We're waiting for the trademark to go through, and then I'll be more happy to talk about it freely. But it has 5 levels that basically every time you gain a level, you're stepping from one to the next tier. So it's a very simplified, like distilled experience where you spend time at 1st level, and then you spend time at 5th level, then you spend time at 11th level, then you spend time at 17th level. There you go. Did I say 11th level or 13th level? What's the playback on that? Oh, the irony. But yeah, it's 1, 5, 9, 13, 17 is the 4 level is the 4 proficiency gains. Those are the 4 levels that your characters have, and it's just it's a very simplified BECMI or Numenera style action economy where you can do one thing during your turn. It could be attacking, but it could also be, you know, negotiating or disabling traps or something like that. But everything has the same ability check resolution mechanic, kind of like Numenera, but it's like an inverted Numenera basically. You're upscaling instead of reducing. Like Numenera's goal is to avoid having to roll dice, and through effort, having an edge, and in different circumstances, the DC of Numenera of Cipher System, the DC drops and drops and drops to the point where you automatically succeed, and then you don't even worry about rolling the die. So once the DC becomes 0, you don't have to roll a die anymore. But if you can drop the DC down to 7, and your character has like a +5 bonus, you're almost guaranteed to succeed. Go ahead and roll. Let's see how that shakes out. Okay, great. And then, you know, that's kind of how it goes. I'm trying to have a branch here receding away from the camera here. I feel like I want to have this peeled out of here, brought up a touch. Yeah, it feels pretty good. No, let's bring it in. Let's bring it in a bit. That's there. That's where it feels right. I'll make this a little bit bigger. That feels right. Yeah, so I'm going to the dentist today. When I go to the dentist, I take the day off to incentivize myself to do things that I might not want to do, like go to the doctor, etc. So if I utilize the tools that are available to me from my place of work, I take better care of myself. I would say employment is working for me in that sense. So I'm in no hurry to quit my day job. I love the stability that it provides. I like that this, regardless of the intensity of effort that I place into it, this is very much a side gig for me. And so I don't mind being patient and letting time develop this into whatever it needs to be. I am not in a mad rush to attain wealth and fame from this endeavor. I don't think I'll ever reach that point. So I can remain disciplined in the decisions that I make, of how I proceed with what I want to do, so that if anything ever pops off, God's willing, I'll have the temerity to remain who I am and continue enjoying it if it becomes like an actual business. That's priority number one, is retain the joy of process. There's that, and I think a lot of that's going to get really nicely covered up. So this feels good. I'm going to thicken this one up a bit. There we go. I'm lucky, as so many artists are, to be utterly obsessed with the process, and just the process of creation and having an end result, and so it really sets me up to succeed, because this is stuff I have to do this stuff. I have to make these things. It's like a hammer in my head, and it just keeps pounding until I work on it.
So the only relief I get is when I'm in the process of production. I can often get away with just doing writing, but the muse, she gets impatient. She loves that I have these books and adventures as an additional plane of release, but the tension builds around art. And so if it's been, if it's been more than a week of me not doing artwork, I start to get a little, I get antsy. So because I'm not doing what I need to do. And so as long as I'm doing that, she lets me do as I need. I'm speaking weirdly. Hold on. The point I was making is I'm lucky that I'm driven to do these things, because it allows me to stream. Honestly, I'm just going like, this is just me doing artwork, and I'm allowed to babble into the void about whatever it is that's on my mind while I do so. There's being able to have folks come through and hang out a little bit and talk about stuff. It's an opportunity for me to not feel as alone, because art is incredibly lonely work. It's I am like, unless I have, like, when I was in high school growing up, I'd hang out with friends and I'd art while I'm bullshitting about like what was going on in class, or you know who you like or whatever. I had that interaction going on while I had my tablet and pencil. I'm just like la la la. I'm arting, but I'm socially interacting with friends while I'm arting, and that was my high school and college, and even after college, I had a steady clique of friends that I played D&D with, and if we weren't playing D&D, I was doing maps and artwork and stuff while, like they're playing WoW or whatever, and so I always had that. Art was always a social connection for me growing up, and that's fallen away over time, which is, I think, pretty natural. I'm 50, so I'm in an age bracket of folks that are, for the most part, having kids that are just to the point where they're leaving for college. So like in another 5 or 10 years, I might be able to more easily reclaim friends that God bless it, that people at my age know what role-playing games are, and is a great cheap hobby. RPGs is such a future-proof entertainment, because you can spend $0 an hour playing role-playing games, and that is exciting news to people that are concerned about their state of being as they age. Like, I just need to have a decent home, good food supply, exercise, and I don't really need to go on vacations, because I'm playing role-playing games all the time. Getting out and seeing things is cool on occasion, just to break the pace, but aging and not having as much mobility, and ending up with a limited income, being content with staying put, role-playing games really leans into that. It's a great retirement plan. I want to fix this one. Because if I'm lucky, I've got maybe another 25 years that I can do this. My mom's 76, and she's still publishing books. She just sent me her new one, and she goes to poetry competitions around the country, and it's super cool. I'm so proud of her. So proud of her, and I pray that I will have as much mobility and salience and drive and energy to be able to continue producing work like this 25 years. I can only imagine what am I going to be capable 25 years from now of producing. And that's exciting. That's exciting. The one gift above anything else in art is a sense of progress, a reward for effort. And I am by far not gifted at all. It's everything I've had to fight every fucking line of the way to get to the level of quality that I'm at. And
some would argue that
I still have a long journey to go, and I would not argue with you. Let's fix this and push that out a bit. And most of this is going to get scrubbed out because of the text. It's got to go. But I want the form to be there. Yeah, like that. There. And I just use laws of perspective just to push some texture down the page.
There's a tree. Yeah, I can keep that in place. I'll just keep those scraggly lines here for now. Because we'll use those foliage brushes to resolve this. And that'll be a good example of like trained brushes. We can look at that when we get there. Strong.
Yeah, so we've been the new Artificer dropped, the UA for the Artificer 2024. Unexpected. There's no book that's been announced that seems like a logical place for the Artificer to sit. So I suspect it's a microtransaction, a digital-only option that might appear in a printed book in the future, but making it available now. And it'll probably be presented as, this might end up in a book at some point, but we wanted to get it out there. And so we're making it available to you immediately, which is a way for them to be able to test the taste for their own stuff as microtransactions, because they've got the MCDMs ill-written already, Illrigger out there for like $15. So I think they're going to offer the Artificer for $7, maybe $4. I'd be surprised if it was $4. I think it'll be $7, but we'll see. This is the branch that the survivors are perched upon. So I want to pay particular detail to it. There we go. Yeah, it's feeling pretty good.
Yeah, that feels really good. So let's get our survivors up in the tree. There, like that.
No, yeah, I had it right. Yeah, that feels good. So yeah, Artificer. We'll be working on that. We've had a few episodes now of converting the base model, basically decoding the math and the patterns inside of Wizards creates these options, and
There's patterns in them. There are scaffolds in progress, and sometimes it's obvious, and sometimes you have to break it apart. And like the 1, 5, 13, 17 is a
proficiency bonus. It's also when half-casters gain their spells levels 1 to 5. It's a real natural that five tier, or that 5-pace scaffolding, 5-step scaffold. Thank you, is a real natural way of expressing what 5e is. So it occurs over and over again, and I really lean into that because I've found over time that is the truth of what D&D is anything that lies along that scaffold is going to do pretty well. And so like I like that the Artificer uses that scaffold, but it's just off by a step.
2, 6, 12, 18.
Sorry, 14, 18. Yeah.
2, 6, 10, 14, 18. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Mathing not so good today. I'm going to get rid of that.
There. Okay, cool. So let's hit save real quick just to make sure we don't...
Oops, I see just a little bit of detail I'm going to work in here. There.
That feels good. All right, I'm going to hit save there. And that's text. I'm going to call this tree. I'm going to call this foliage. Right. Left. There. Duplicate. Duplicate.
So yeah, we've been working on the Artificer. I think we've had like maybe 6 hours invested in it so far. We've got the basic scaffold translated, so we've got a decent sense of what's going on there. And making little feet here, so the angle is going to be really interesting. Let's carve that down.
I'm going to take this and drop this significantly into the background.
A foot on the branch, that's good. Here, pelvis. I can do this and even have the foot here. Yeah, it feels unstable. I don't think he'd want to perch like that.
And I need to have, hold on. I found an angle thing.
like that. Thicken it up a bit. A bit. There we go. That feels good. Okay, good. Thank you. Back at it. There, by pushing this branch into foreshortening behind this main branch, it pushes it upward. I think I want to foreshorten this a bit. Yeah, it feels okay. I'm starting to feel okay. Oh, I like that. That feels really, really good. See if I can pull off the legs and make it work. Yeah, that's working out. It's vague. It feels right. It's a I lost something there. Hold on. That's something's happening here. Let's set here. Let's make that thigh work here with his butt. Kick that open just a little bit more. Yeah, so we've been working on the Artificer. We'll continue that today. 4:30 East Coast, 1:30 here in Seattle. And we spent the past few sessions figuring out the scaffold, and now we took care of the alchemist, the first subclass. Today we'll figure out the artificer, and if we have time, the artillerist. And then tomorrow we should be back at lunch. We'll be back in the morning again to continue working on artwork, and we'll be back on, and then we'll be back at lunchtime to finish up. Hopefully, if we haven't finished artillerist, then, and then if we've already finished, we'll do that. It might be a short session, but if we already finished the artillerist today. But not the battlesmith, then we'll resolve the battlesmith tomorrow on Tuesday. And then I'll be away on Wednesday because of the holiday, Christmas 2024. But then we'll be back on Thursday morning, Thursday lunch, and Thursday night. I've got Thursday off. I've got Friday off. We'll be back on Friday morning and Friday lunchtime. And then Saturday will be my normal Saturday morning stream. We'll be out, and then Monday, I'm off on Monday, so I'll have a long morning like this, and then we'll have a lunchtime, and then we'll play test Monday night, and then Tuesday I also have off. I'll be on in the morning, and then at lunchtime as well. And then Wednesday is a holiday. I'll be spending time with family and friends. And then Tuesday I go back to, Thursday is back to normal schedule. In the morning, and then at lunchtime. And then Friday morning and lunchtime. That feels right. Let's do that. I like that hand, but I don't need it right now. I need to resolve this knee. There. That feels pretty good. Tricky angle, but I think I've pulled it off well enough.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, that feels pretty natural. That feels pretty natural. Nice. Okay, cool. I like that. Maybe I need to angle that arm just a smidge. Yeah, that feels good. I like that. Okay, cool. We're going to keep that. Keep that. Now let's work on this. Let's see. Now you gotta be careful about size and proportions. This is already, I want to have this be a chick, and she's already looking significantly larger than him, so I'm gonna have to reduce down her size. Let's go back up here and make sure our 1, 2. That feels about right. Yeah. What is going on? Too high. Too high. Too low. Yeah, these need to be separated. Up like that. Where's my hitbox? That feels about right. That feels about right. I'm going to shift the whole thing over just a smidge so I get, oh, you end up getting with more of those branches over on the right hand side. That's cool. But I wanted to bring this more in alignment here. It's technically where our point, like this would be dead on. Let's go thirds. Yeah, it feels off. I want to slide it over. Yeah, that feels a little better, just to be off center, just a smidge. That feels right. Yeah, that feels good. All right, let's go art. Whatever. Tree's looking good. All right, so back into it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. I think it's time for me to have a cup of coffee. I think it's time to refresh my coffee. Give me a hot second. I'll be right back. We're going to go for the rest of this piece. Give me a hot second. I'll be right back. Almost done. Stay on target. Stay right there. Oh my god, the heater is so nice. Ah, it's so nice and warm. Almost there. Stay on target. Almost there. All right. Let's get back into it. Nice fresh cup of coffee. Cheers. Yum, yum, yum. Now we'll take a fresh swig of water. See where we're at. There we go. Okay, cool. Huh. What about they were standing. Nah, it doesn't feel very. Ooh, but I could just have. I do like that. Hold on. I do like the idea of them being crooked up against the tree here. Kind of like that.
Oh, then you could afford to have your foot hanging down. Like that. Here like that. Here, hips around like that. Pelvis, abdomen, chest, shoulders. Foot. Foot. Leg. Hips. Leg here. What is up? How you doing? There. Way too big, so we need to bring that size down. There, like that. I can feel my head twisting, which means I'm probably not as close as I should be. Let's bring that in just a smidge. When my head starts to tilt, it's normally an indication I'm further away than I'm supposed to be. Sorry, it felt like the window was open. I had to check that real quick. There we go. Let's erase that. Like that. That feels really natural. I'm really happy with that. Except that I feel like this needs to be skewed. There. Let's clear all that out of the way. Yeah, that feels a little bit more natural. Nice. Okay. Seems a little big. I think I want to bring that down just a bit. Yeah, that feels pretty natural. I'm good with that. Now I'm not breaking her ankle or nothing by being posed that way. It's toes under knee. So when you have a human body, you always want to keep your toes aligned with your knees. So if your knee is like this, your toe wants to be like this, so that you're always aligning your thigh with the direction. Well, you don't have to necessarily, like, you can have it off a little bit, but the direction of your knee, toe has to stay over your knee, otherwise you're unstable. Kind of like that. Yeah, I like that. Let's take this and foreshorten it a smidge to pull it away from the camera. There, like that.
We'll see how that shakes out. So far, so good.
So far, so good.
I hit save because my screen just flickered. It makes me nervous. Ah, crap. Hit save, and I pulled. It's almost impossible for me to redock that thing, so I'm just gonna relaunch it. There, that feels good. Do it like that. I like where this is at. Now I got to figure out what to do with her arms. So I'm going to duplicate the layer. Oops. Duplicate, not delete. Thanks. Duplicate the layer so I can mess around. I kind of like how this is posed. Is already coming along, though. Ooh, I could do a more relaxed pose than that. Here, and then I got a leg bone here. So this is where the hips are at, and this is going into the crook. Hips are splayed like this. Leg goes forward and then crooks over like that. And the foot is here. Pull her leg out of here. No, I think I'm just gonna stick with the. I'm gonna stick with the leg up.
Let's merge that down. This does feel this feels that's yeah, this is more energized than what a passive like off crossed leg would feel. So we'll stick with this. There, that feels pretty good. You know what? I'm going to go back. That feels good. There it is. All right, cool. Yeah, we had to establish that just to make sure it's set pretty. I think we can change the angle on that a little bit. It'll be a little more realistic.
There we go. That feels better. Right in just a touch. Oh God, this is a challenge. Legit challenge. Let's go with perspective. Down a touch and then up like that. Ooh. Bam. There it is. Come on, kiddo. Let's get that boot right. Drop it down in size just a bit. There we go. That should be okay. Maybe I should just get rid of it altogether and stop trying to make that angle work. Yeah, maybe focus on that instead. Keep that simple. Maybe I should just keep it simple. That feels good. And that feels good. Take the whole piece. Can we make that a little bit bigger? Let's mask it real quick. Feels good. Cool. Okay, great. Now let's start adding in foliage. Where'd my foliage go? I think I destroyed my foliage. All right, let's make that go away. Right, so let's see. Foliage. Let's go with the conifer. Just dusting this stuff in. Since we're looking up into the tree, it's going to have foliage in the background like this. I think I want to get it on too dense right now, though. It's just like a general background radiation.
becomes more solid as you get further into the structure.
How are we doing on time over here? It's 8:40. Okay, we're almost done for the day. Let's see.
Yeah, I think I'm done for the day. We'll come back and continue on with this tomorrow morning. I'm going to be back. We're going to work on more. We're going to work on the artillerist and or the armor, and then maybe the artillerist,
Artificer subclasses.
Using the spell point, color mana spell point system with the new 2024 mechanics. I'll be making a little supplement called Spell Point Artificers. That'll be fun.
Something like that. That feels pretty good. Yeah, let's leave that like that. Okay, cool. So that's where we're set for now. Let's see. When we come back, tomorrow, we'll drop in. We'll get to the second part of this. So I will catch up with you guys in the Marrow, and yeah, thanks all for hanging out. I'll be back in about from noon till 1 o'clock is my is dentist. So I'll probably be back maybe by 2. I might be on by 2:30, something like that. I'm not exactly sure. Let's go for 2:30. Let's plan for 2:30. I should be back on by then, no problem. If I can get on earlier, I will. But anyway, catch you guys in a few hours, or 5 or 6. Anyway, cheers.